considered himself to be a basketball genius. Whatever that means, sure. And
of course he is.
If you're that much of a genius, my man, go about getting a job the right way. Stop telling TMZ you want a damn job. You've had enough dealings post-career with the Philadelphia 76ers where I'm sure your people or even you could pick up a phone and go in there and have an adult conversation with someone about employment. Yeah, that already sounds like a bad idea, hiring Allen Iverson to be an assistant GM. Yeah. So anyway, back to this whole thing.
Talk about sucking. I mean, Philly already suck enough, man. Like, where? I mean, I don't understand what bring him in, though, dude. It ain't like them recruiting talent ain't an issue. Signing talent, that ain't been the issue.
Oh, because he says he can look into a guy's eyes and see if he's one of those foxhole type of dudes.
Like we can look at his eyes.
We're not looking for muscle, Allen. We're not looking for someone to shake down a bodega. We're looking for basketball players. And back to the story about the trust. The story came out last week that I guess it's like $32 million, something like that, but he won't be able to get all of the trust. Let me see if I can find these restrictions, because what's happened is his wife is going to get half of it, and that's the good part, or his ex-wife, I should say, is going to get half of it, and that's the good part for Allen, because what had happened was with him and okay, here it is. Here's the article. What had happened with him in this trust was he apparently, when his wife Tawana was going to leave him in 2010, he was so desperate to have her back, he signed what's called a post-nuptial agreement. And in this agreement, here were some of the terms for Allen to continue to keep his trust. He cannot cheat or have children outside of the marriage. Oh God, why you sign that? Where's my little? Yeah. No physical or verbal abuse, which is very ambiguous. That could be anything. You could say anything. If you like, shut up, Tawana. Yep, you just verbally abused me. Thanks for $32 million, Allen.
But you remember he held her hostage and all that. You remember when that happened?
Allegedly.
But when he came out of the house, he looked a damn mess. Like he had been on the bench. I mean,
it was never proven that had happened. You remember his mom was out there. Did Tawana tell you that? And all that kind of stuff. So the third one is he must attend marriage counseling. He must speak to a therapist about drinking and gambling problems. Can never gamble again. Yeah. Oh, here's a bigger one. Must be home by midnight. My man. You signed this.
Hit it again.
Let's go. And finally, he must discuss any purchase over $5,000. Shh. Dude, you lost that money before you even had it, really? Like, yeah, that's ridiculous. I'm not trying to get nobody back that bad worth $32 million. So, inevitably, he failed. I don't have to tell you guys that part, but inevitably, he failed. And for whatever reason, out of the kindness of her heart, she agreed to give Allen half of the Reebok trust back in the divorce. But she kept the other half, of course. Yeah, I was like, because really, he signed the deed. She could have had all of it. Like, that's a grown woman move. You feel me? That's a grown woman move. Yeah, it is. Because she could have been Miss Bitter Black Woman. And part of this article talks about them still having a relationship and still having chances of reconciliation and that kind of thing. But yeah, that's weird, dude. Like, do you think I want this dude doing anything within that's why I got to this, not to just like blast him on stupidity, but to illuminate that this is the man who wants a job in one of the 30 front offices of the National Basketball. So I don't give a damn if it's the Sixers. I don't give a damn if it's a bad team. It's still one of 30. Yeah. Dude, you can't come around here making no damn decisions. If that's the kind you make,
Now, hold on. Let me read this to you. This is from Pro Basketball Talk, the NBC sports site. I guess this is when I originally read it, March 2nd of 2012. It was Kurt Healing that wrote this. And it talks about, let me see what the headline is. Allen Iverson is not broke because a friend was smart. That's the headline. Then it says, someone in Allen Iverson's inner circle was a true friend to the man. Then it talks about, him having an unpaid jury bill, having to wanting to play in the D League or Puerto Rico. But then it goes on to say Peter Vesey laid out in detail in the New York Post, someone in Iverson's inner circle was a true friend. Someone recognized if just giving the money, AI will burn through it. So, and in quotes, a person with a firm grip on the situation informed me Iverson has an account worth $32 million, a principal he is prohibited from touching. Now, this says until he's 55. Yeah. In the meantime, it feeds him in the meantime, it feeds him $1 million annually. At 45, Iverson will be eligible to start drawing on the NBA pension that maxes out at 10 years of active duty. Then it goes on to say the $32 million known as the Reebok Fund among Iverson's friends because the money came from the shoe deal. So there it is. So
you good? Things good?
Yeah, I'm just saying, but that's where I got it from. So, I mean.
Yeah, but there's a little important detail at the end, the Reebok part at the very, very end. That's probably the most important part of it. Like it wasn't like they just took $32 million of Iverson's money and put it away for him. No. It was money that Reebok just didn't give him. Where are we at? We got like 9 minutes before we got a break. Good. This thing Thursday, I told you the draft is coming up Thursday. Karl Anthony Towns has reportedly been told by the Timberwolves that they're going to take him number 1. I don't know. We'll find out on Thursday, but whatever. We didn't talk about this thing when it happened, the Isaiah Thomas thing, when he was, I guess, hired as the president of the New York Liberty. That sound right? Mm-hmm. WNBA team, New York Liberty.
The WNBA team, yeah.
And then there was like a big firestorm about the fact that he lost a sexual harassment suit, or not he. He got Madison Square Garden, the company Madison Square Garden. He got them hit with a lawsuit for sexual harassment that they inevitably lost. He proclaimed his innocence and all this kind of stuff, but there was kind of a brouhaha about it. Part of his deal, though, in being the president of the team, they had some ownership stake along with it, which other owners of WNBA team, I think 8 of them, had to vote as to whether they would approve it. Well, they have placed it now in a suspension status. It's currently suspended. Don't know, if and when they're going to make a final decision as to whether they're going to let Isaiah be that percentage owner, whatever the percentage is. I'm not sure, but it's just, I don't know. I've said it before. If someone has this type of thing on their resume, just say it. They shouldn't be able to work anymore. Say that. Or if you say he shouldn't be able to own a women's team because it sends a bad message, say that. But just having it suspended, like, okay, let's just suspend it and see if people still talk about it. That's what it sounds like to me. One of those Roger Goodell things. I'm going to let the public decide whether we move forward or we ditch this dude or we ditch that part of his deal. It's just weird to me. And then I saw this today. Oh, Mark Action Jackson. Did you read this today, Rob? This thing about Mark?
Yes, by Festus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all you dudes or people, ladies included, I want to leave y'all out, who felt like, this was Mark Jackson's team. They really just won a championship off what he built. Yeah. You know what you were? Wrong. This thing had all the makings of something that was ready to implode at any minute because of I don't know. It's fooling. I'm trying to. Oh, here it is. I found it. Huh. All right. This is per Zach Lowe of Grantland. He says that it starts off by, I can just read this whole thing, you guys. I highlighted stuff, but it's real short. Mark Jackson used the article itself was by Glenn Irby. Mark Jackson used a variety of different approaches to help motivate his Golden State Warriors teams. But did the ESPN analyst really throw one of his own players under the bus to satisfy his goals? According to Zach Lowe of Grantland, Festus Ezeli, big man, a kid that supposedly graduated from college at 16, became a pawn in the game played between Jackson and the Warriors last season. Ezeli It goes on to say Kerr overhauled a team culture that had grown poisonous for well-documented reasons under Jackson and his assistants. In his zeal to motivate players, Jackson fostered resentment among them and toward the front office. He fired 2 assistants. Remember that one of them actually recorded a meeting or something like that. And the other one, who was it? It was some experienced guy that he fired. I can't remember.
The assistant coach.
Yeah, he was a real experienced guy that they were bumping heads, and Mark Jackson was like, "Hit the door, homeboy," and he fired him. He also requested that Jerry West stay away from practices. That's smart, dude. And asked the younger front office officials to stop rebounding for players. That's weird. Sources have said when Ezeli was injured last season, Jackson, listen to this closely, ladies and gentlemen.
It was Scalabrine. It was Brian Scalabrine.
Right. Jackson and his staff told the healthy players that Ezeli was cheering against them so that he would look good. According to several team sources, players confronted Ezeli in a meeting. He wept at the accusations, which he denied. Like, can you imagine that? Like, first of all, you know who led the charge. Draymond. Immediately, you know that. He probably called him many an N-word and asked him what the F. Those type of things probably came out of him. If I can picture this in my mind, that's how I picture it happening. So, yeah, this young dude is sitting there like, man, I ain't do nothing. You know how you start doing that? You start getting mad. He probably didn't like cry, but, you know, you get mad, your eyes start welling up on you because somebody lying on you. This apparently happened under the guise of Mark Jackson. When you start trying to pit players against the front office and all that, you start telling Jerry West, don't come in the building. My man, what you expect gonna happen? What you think this is? You know what I mean? Like, you ain't that far gone, my man. This ain't even about being, you know, the yeser guy. This ain't even about being that. This is about being like a cool coworker. You feel me? That's what that's about. Like, this dude.
Yeah, but I could see him wanting it all to himself, though. I could see Mark Jackson being like that.
That's ridiculous. Like, you ain't accomplished nothing, cuz. Why? Because you took a bottom basement team and became the 6th seed? Yeah, you feeling yourself way too much if that's what you're thinking. The article closed out to say it would appear Jackson was trying to motivate his team and employed a really cheap and insensitive approach to this process. The bevy of problems that occurred under Jackson are probably the main reason he's void of any credit for the Warriors championship season. And this is what I asked the question the day after the championship was won. Why aren't people knocking down Mark Jackson's door to become their coach? Even Jeff Van Gundy was mentioned in the New Orleans for the New Orleans job. And every year, 1 or 2 jobs come open, and Jeff Van Gundy's name is mentioned every single year.
They mentioned Jeff Van Gundy replacing David Blatt.
Every year. Why is that not happening for the guy who built this championship team? Like, stop doing that, man. We got to stop jumping on sides because a dude shares some pigmentation with us. Idiots are made in every color. People who are bad at their jobs, guess what? They're made in every color. He got his shot. You know what? And if he chose to do that,
but he good at his job. He's good at his broadcasting job, though. He's real good at that.
And it's not saying that Mark can't become a good coach. You know, this can't be something to learn from. But my point is, don't steal from Steve Kerr because you're rooting for Mark Jackson.
How was it that him and Coach Tibbs, they both getting the same rap, dog? And I like both of them. You know what I'm saying? It's like they are getting the same rap. They are terrible co-workers, like terrible team players. Unbelievable.
Hey, but you see, one dude is paid dues, though. One dude hasn't.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's what it boils down to. You know what I mean?
Well, it depends on what type. It depends on what type of dudes you're looking at.
Mark Jackson's paid none. He's a player.
Well,
that don't constitute dudes.
And that's what I was gonna say.
No, he's a player. Yeah, Coach Bud.
Definitely.
Coach Budenholzer on the bench for a decade behind Popovich. Those are dudes. You feel me?
I didn't even know the dude
was
when he got hired.
Quietly doing the job, learning the craft. Mark Jackson came out the booth.
And speaking of the Warriors, my God, dude, did you see the party that they were having in Vegas at Aria?
I saw Draymond.
You got your boy Clay down. You got your boy Clay in the pool, popping Moet with 2 hot chicks and they twerking on him.
Yeah, safe to say that whole thing with Kyrie's old lady. Safe to say that thing's probably over. Yeah, I'm a champion in B word. Move on.